I'm Isabella, a pedal pushing storyteller. I've had rare adventures, and I'll tell you one right now.
Hello, my buttons. It's Isabella here. Isabella Necessity on her story bicycle. Me and Dillis, my story bicycle, we travel all around the world. And wherever we go, we meet people, share stories, have adventures, and then I share those stories with you. But I haven't been able to do a lot of travelling lately. And so here we are today at home in England, the West Country, in Devon. And it is heaven in Devon when the sun's out. And it's been hot today, which put me in mind of a chilly story to help me cool down. And that is what I'll tell you now. The story bicycle is about to begin. This story takes place in the north of the world. In the land of snow-capped mountains, the land of giants, trolls, and beautiful knitted jumpers. I can show you where we were. There I was, freewheeling down this hill. Whee! No hands. Now, this is a steeper incline than it looks, and I was struggling up there, and as you can see a castle, so I could see a castle. And I hoped that in one of those many rooms there'd be a kettle on for a nice cup of tea. So I had my cup of tea, but what you can't see that I could see is behind the castle is a garden. It was beautiful. Tall trees whose tips touched the sky. Tiny alpine flowers of yellow, white and blue. But there was something strange about this garden. There was an air of sadness. It was like the branches were hanging heavy with sorrow. The leaves turned down like an unhappy smile. Well, I could see the gardener and I called him over and I asked him why the garden was so sad. And this is what he told me. He told me that the king and the queen could not have any children. And they so wanted some children to hug when they were good and scold when they were bad. And that got me thinking. Because on my travels, I meet all kinds of people, and I am a lover of beans and seeds and trees. And somewhere over the back of that hill, I'd been given this, a magical bean, by an old henwife. This bean here, was just right for the queen. So I gave it to the gardener with these very strict instructions. Tell the queen to go out tonight when the moon is bright. Tell her to go to her favourite place in the garden and into the soft earth to dig down with her bare hands, and then to place the bean and push down and make a wish for the child of her dreams. And then to cover it up with earth again, tucking it up like it's a little babby. And then she must take a watering can and water the bean with her right hand. But whatever she does, she must not water that bean with her left hand. So the gardener gave the bean to the queen with those strict instructions, and you know she did exactly that. She went out under the bright moonlight and she found the place and she pushed it down and she made the wish and she watered it with her right hand, and then she watered it with her left hand. Now, I don't know if it was enthusiasm, forgetfulness, or plain desperation for wanting a child, but water it with her left hand she did. And then she went to bed. Well, the queen, she looked out the window to see if any magic was happening, but she couldn't see anything. But magic was occurring, because down below the ground, roots were growing down and shoots were growing up, and out from the place where she had planted the seed came a golden flower. And as those petals opened wide, well, a golden child was found inside. And when the queen came down the stairs from her bedroom in the morning and out into the garden. Then she noticed the babby in the bloom. Well, her heart lifted with joy, but she was a queen and she had her duty to perform. Hello, I am the queen. You may recognize me from the stamps. How do you do? Hello. I name this child Precious Petal. Well, the queen was just about to take Precious Petal inside for breakfast when the ground began to tremble and tremble, and out came a blood-red flower, and inside a girl with a different kind of power. And not only that, the girl, well, she jumped down out of the bloom onto the back of a billy goat. A red spoon appeared in her hand. She whirled it round and around her head and she cried out, "Mom! Mom! Here I come!" The queen was flabbergasted. Well, she took one look at the girl's red hair and raggedy clothes and she said, I name this child Tatterhood. Well, the queen had got a little bit more than she bargained for. 2 girls when she'd only wished for one. But she loved them just the same. And they loved each other, for although they were as different as day is to night, they were like 2 peas in a pod, and they grew up together, well and happy. They had all the castle and all the gardens and woods to play in. What kind of games do you think they liked to play? Pardon? Hide and seek. You're right. Brilliant. Under the beds and in the cupboards and out behind the trees. And what else did they like to play? Tag. It. Yeah. You're it. You're it. You're it. You're it. Classic game. And when they got tired of running around, they'd go right to the top of the castle, to the highest room, and they would look through a golden telescope to the stars. But the day came when everything changed, as that day sometimes does. And when they heard this noise, well, the queen, she said, "Bring in the washing." And when it got louder, well, the king said, "Thunder and lightning, shut the doors, shut the windows." But when it got even louder and the knocking came at the doors, well, Tatterhood, she knew exactly what it was. Can you clap like this as well? Nice and loud on your thighs and legs. Keep it going. Keep it going. Dun dun da, dun dun da. We will mash you. We will smash you. We're the Troll girls, we're coming to get ya. Troll girls, we'll boil you in a stew, roast you, toast you for a human lunch, pull you out by your roots. We pack a big punch. And those troll girls, they smashed and bashed and crashed into everything in the castle, kicking off the toys, pulling pictures off the walls. Tatterhood, she ran around and around on her goat, biffing and boffing with her spoon, hooving and horning with her goat, but they got the better of her. And I'm sorry to tell you, but those trolls, they took Precious Petal away. Tatterhood was broken-hearted. Her heart, well, it felt torn in two. And she decided to go and ask her parents a question. And she asked them if she could have a boat. Well, the queen said she could have 1,000 boats, but Tatterhood, she said no. I will be captain of my own boat. And the king and the queen agreed. Captain of my own ship with everything I need. I'm nothing without my sister, we're from the same seed. Sail in the seas, ride in the waves, say to my precious sister, we're from the same seed. 3 days, 3 nights, Tatterhood sailed to the north, planning, plotting, scheming what she would do when she reached there. And when she finally got there, she was ever ready for the sight and the sound of the trolls. And when she heard the noise, well, she knew it wasn't rain. And when it got louder, well, she knew it wasn't thunder and lightning. Can you clap again? On your legs, like that. She knew exactly what it was. We will mash you. We will smash you. We're the troll girls, we're coming to get ya. Troll girls, we'll boil you in a stew, roast you, toast you for a human lunch, pull you out by your roots. We pack a big punch. This time, she was ready for 'em. And Tatterhood biffed, boffed with her red spoon, and the goat hooved, horned, and that weakened the trolls. And soon they had no more power. And Tatterhood, well, she got precious Petal back. Some people say hooray at this point. As for all those 2 girls were as different as day is to night, well, they loved each other like 2 peas in a pod. Tatterhood, she put precious Petal on the back of the goat, and they rowed down to the boat. And for 3 days and 3 nights, they sailed back home, sharing secrets, swapping stories, until they reached the land of their blooming and their blossoming, the land where they had both bloomed, and the open arms of their parents, the king and the queen. And in that beautiful place, those girls grew to young women, and they always were very different. Well, precious Petal, she loved nothing more than to stay at home and grow vegetables. But Tatterhood, well, she always had the spirit of adventure inside of her. And at the very next opportunity, she got into her boat and she sailed away. But my lovelies, that is a story for another day. But she always was captain of my own ship with everything I need. Saying goodbye to my sister, we're from the same seed. Sailing the seas, riding the waves. Saying goodbye to my sister, they're from the same seed. Well, it just leaves me to tell you that precious Petal and Tatterhood lived happily ever after, and so may you. Thank you for listening to my story.
I'm Isabella, a pedal pushing storyteller. I've had rare adventures as I travel round the world.